Hello again, this is Jim Moroney. I'd like to go through and give you kind of an oversight as to what's on this website by way of the tutorial. To start it off with, let me say this. The industry standard for attorneys is to offer the consumer a 20-minute interview at no charge about bankruptcy. Well, I have no reservations in knowing that after you go through this tutorial, you'll wonder why anyone would think that 20 minutes would be sufficient to cover any part of what you're going to learn on this tutorial. The problem with the legal profession, bankruptcy attorneys, is from a procedural standpoint, frankly, they've decided that they are smarter than you are and that they will decide what you need to know. Well, I feel differently about that. I think that bankruptcy is such an important decision for you and your family. You need a lot more than 20 minutes to make up your mind as to what's involved in bankruptcy and whether it meets your needs. So that's the first purpose of this tutorial, is to educate you so that you'll know what to do. Now, selfishly, the second purpose that I have in making the videos is, my theory of it is that the more you know about bankruptcy, the more likely it will be that you will hire me as your attorney. Certainly no one else, no other attorney, is going to share this information with you. And it gives you an insight into how I treat my clients. So as you go through the series, get out some paper and a pen and write down questions you may have. When you and I meet, you can ask me those questions. But I think it will also give you a deeper understanding if you become participatory in going through the tutorials. There are about 50 videos, and it takes you about 7.5 hours to go through these. So don't try to do it all at once. It's too much material to do at once. I hope that you go through them sequentially, chapter by chapter. There's a purpose in how I've got it structured so that you can learn, and I want you to learn the most you can. Let's start. Part 1, segment 1, what you need to know about Missouri collection lawsuits. If somebody sued you, a credit card company, hospital, whomever, it doesn't make any difference. Those 4 videos take you about a half hour to go through, and you're going to learn a tremendous amount of information that will be helpful to you. So that speaks for itself. Even if you don't intend to file bankruptcy, those first 4 videos about lawsuits are well worth watching. Segment 2, deciding whether bankruptcy is right for you. You know, if you go through, and I hope you do, the other attorney websites and what they have to say about that subject of whether somebody should or shouldn't file bankruptcy, kind of jot down a little note about what they had to say. Then I hope you watch my 3 videos, because my videos are materially different in approach. You probably won't hear my explanation from anyone else, at least around Missouri. There's a reason for that. I come from the banking community and the regulatory community. I know what the big boys are doing to you. And all of my attitudes and insights about bankruptcy are deeper because of that. It's not a question of intelligence. It's a question of years of experience and familiarity with how evil some of these people are. So I hope that you profit from that video segment on deciding whether it's right for you to file bankruptcy. Segment 3, the importance of which bankruptcy lawyer you should hire. Understandably, a part of those 4 videos takes you about a half hour. They encourage you to hire me as your attorney. But if you watch those 4 videos, you're going to learn a lot more than just whether you should hire Jim Moroney. You're going to learn about some economic constraints and realities in the legal profession that directly impact you as a consumer. These are things you need to know and appreciate. It should be part of your decision making to know these things. Part 4, Introduction to Consumer Bankruptcy, Chapters 7 and 13. Get your feet wet on understanding what Chapters 7 and 13 involve. And then I stress to you the importance of the location for your 341 meeting. That's not a matter of logic. You just have to know how the court system is set up and why that's important. And then I also, in that part 4, I will share with you the Western District of Missouri bankruptcy court website and what you can learn from that site. That won't take you too long. There's 2 videos, takes you about 15 minutes. Part 5, understanding the competing interests in consumer bankruptcy. If I were going to pick out the most important segment in this whole tutorial, it would be Part 5, these competing interests. You in a bankruptcy, you're concerned about you and your creditors, and understandably, you're concentrating on that. But in order to understand bankruptcy and how understand your bankruptcy, you need to watch Part 5, because there are a lot more contests going on in a consumer bankruptcy than just you and your creditors. After you watch those 4 videos, 40 minutes, you'll understand bankruptcy. You'll understand it more than even some attorneys do. Part 6, sample petitions. For Chapter 7 and 13. You know, if you get on the Western District website, or if you stumble upon the federal website where you can print your bankruptcy forms, there's never any insight as to what forms you would need for your particular bankruptcy, or how they would apply to you and your family. So in Part 6, I've got 10 videos, and in detail I go through a typical bankruptcy petition for Chapter 7 and 13. Why am I doing that? Well, you know, you're going to eventually come into my office or some other attorney's office and sign a bankruptcy petition. And if you stop and think about it, when you're signing all that, if you've never seen one, in addition to looking and determining whether the information is correct, you're going to have to become familiar with what the forms look like, because nobody's ever showed them to you. Well, I don't want that for my clients. You and I, in Part 6, we're going to walk through page by page a typical bankruptcy petition for Chapter 7 and 13, and I do my best in those videos to explain to you what they mean. Now, it's an extensive segment. There's 10 videos. It takes you an hour, hour and a half to go through them, but it's well worth the effort. You'll learn a tremendous amount of information. Part 7 has 6 videos, takes you about an hour. The median income test and the means test. There are 2 tests for filing bankruptcy as to what income you can earn, how much can you earn, and still qualify for Chapter 7. If you earn over the median income, then you have to take a second test, qualify for a second test, based on your expenses. That's called the means test. Well, in Part 7, I go through and explain all that to you. Now, for most of you, you're going to earn below the median income. So that discussion about the means test won't be necessary for you. However, I hope you do watch it, because you're going to learn a lot, too, that would apply to your case in a lot of instances. Number 8, understanding the statement of intention and Missouri exemptions. There are 8 videos. Takes you about an hour and 20 minutes, hour 30 minutes to go through. But, you know, a lot of people will say, well, you don't have anything to worry about. Your property's protected in bankruptcy. Well, that's not a sufficient answer. In Part 8, I go through and show you why you're not going to lose anything in bankruptcy. 99.9% of all consumer bankruptcies, you're going to keep what you have, but Part 8 will explain that to you. The last segment, I've spent quite a bit of time on that, and I've taken all of the questions that I know clients are going to ask in a first client interview, and I answer those in Part 9. There are 9 videos. It takes you about an hour and a half to go through those, but the purpose of that is to, number 1, let you have all that information available to you, but equally important, when you come in and visit with me, you and I will have all this out of the way. You may have a couple of questions because of the videos, but most of the questions you'll already have answered by watching the videos. So I hope you profit from this. I hope it's a real enjoyable, profitable exercise for you, and I know it will be. Take your time, go through them. Don't try to do it in one night. After you watch the videos, I hope that you give me a call. I'd look forward to meeting you. Thank you.